Hey everybody, this is Dream, and today we have an interesting 9-game slate for the NBA. There's actually not a ton of injuries. Obviously, it's been a few days because of uh, since the NBA's had some games because of the All-Star weekend. We do have a few injuries though. Before I get into that though, I've got a question. Do you guys want me to do more NBA with both DraftKings and FanDuel, or do you want more college basketball stuff? Because it takes a lot of time to do college basketball stuff, and so if I do more of that, then I haven't been playing FanDuel very much as it is, and I'm kind of just moving away from it, I guess. Just let me know in the comments what you guys think. With that said, though, let's get an injury report. For the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon is out. For the Cavaliers, Rubio is out. For the Pistons, Bagley is doubtful and Cunningham is out. For the Pelicans, Zion remains out. For the Grizzlies, Adams and Kennard remain out. For the Spurs, Sochan and Trey Jones are both questionable. Vassell looks like he's going to be out, and then Langford is out. For the Mavs, Keebler is out. For the Thunder, Pokusevski is out. For the Jazz, Sexton is out. For the Warriors, Curry and Wiggins are both out. And for the Trailblazers, Simmons, Nurkic, and Winslow are out. Nurkic is potentially going to come back here soon, so we'll have to wait and see, but looks like he's still going to be out today. With that said, let's get into the players I do like. So this slate is really kind of bottom heavy with value plays. There's a lot of guys that are overpriced. I felt like Doncic, Joker, Lillard, Morant, Shea Alexander, Kyrie Irving, Sabonis a little bit, Harden all feel overpriced today for what they've been doing as of late, and they're also in tough matchups, a lot of them, which kind of hurts. So my favorite play on the slate, though, is Joel Embiid. He's the safest, expensive guy, in my opinion. He has been playing pretty solid for the most part, and even though it is a kind of a tough-ish matchup against Memphis, they still don't have Adams, so as long as Adams remains out, Embiid has been torching some people, so and he has finally been playing a full complement of minutes where he was for a little while he was playing less minutes, but he's just been torching people all season long. This looks like a great matchup for him, and it looks like he's going to have all the minutes he can handle in this one. Um, James Harden looks interesting today as well. I'm going to mention him as a second option just because he's been playing pretty well, and his price has come back down under 10,000 because it's been over 10,000 off and on throughout the season. But he hasn't been like way over 5xing, and so he does not seem quite as good as Joel Embiid does. But as far as all the other plays in those price ranges, he's probably one of the better ones. I also thought Domantas Sabonis looked interesting. Then we're going to look at Keldon Johnson here at $7,000. He looks like he's a pretty safe play today. He's had some off games lately, but now with the All-Star break, he should get back to full health. And he has some nice upside on this team, especially if a bunch of guys are still rolled out. It looks like Trey Jones is likely to miss and a couple other guys as well. And if that's the case, then he'll definitely have some nice upside here. Then Wendell Carter Jr., who obviously also plays center, so he's a little bit harder to roster. But he has been playing really well, and his floor seems pretty high for this situation, especially against Detroit. He's been playing pretty consistent throughout the season. His floor is a little bit lower than his price, but he's been okay, and his price is about as low as it's been throughout the year. So as long as he stays in this price range, he's definitely somebody to consider, especially in good matchups, and this is definitely a good one. I don't. He's had 2 games against Detroit where he's averaged 30 fantasy points in each, and he has double-double potential in this game. So I think he's in a great spot, and he looks like a guy that will probably be a good opportunity today. Then another center, unfortunately, Walker Kessler at $5,700. Now he's been a little bit up and down, but he's had out of the last 9 games, he's had 6 games over 33 fantasy points, but 2 of them were bad because he played limited minutes. I'm not exactly sure why sometimes he doesn't play big minutes, but he should be playing big minutes now that they have less guys at his position. But overall, he's in a good spot, and but do keep in mind that they still have everybody back. Everybody's healthy now, with the exception of Sexton, which doesn't really input him at all. Then we're going to look at Zach Collins, who's also very interesting on the slate. He's just been really good in his 4 games since he became the de facto starter. He is a little bit pricey for this situation, especially against a tougher Dallas team, but he does have some upside here, as he has been scoring over 30 fantasy points in 3 of the 4 games that he's been in since he started starting. He's no longer a must play, but he is somebody to consider as an alternative to Kessler or to Wendell Carter if you want. Then I'm going to get to Talon Horton Tucker. Now, he might be my favorite play on the slate and overall, simply because Sexton is out, which gives him a nice boost, and his price really hasn't come up enough yet to start saying that he's overpriced. So right now, as long as he stays in this price range, I'm going to look for him, especially with Sexton out. When Sexton comes back, he's still got some value here, but not quite as much as what he does tomorrow with this situation. They're going to have to go to their bench pretty hard here in that game. Then we're going to look at Killian Hayes for the Pistons, and he's been really pretty good upside since he started starting, especially with Cunningham out. And as long as nobody else really plays better than him and doesn't take his position, he's still in a pretty good spot. Though his floor is lower than I'd like, but he has played really well lately, and he has got some nice upside. You know, he has 10x upside, which there's not too many guys that have that in his price range, so I do think he's viable here. Then we're looking at Keegan Murray for Sacramento. Now, obviously, he's benefited to some guys being out, but he's been pretty consistent throughout the season. He's had a couple stretches of a few games where he didn't play well, but for the most part, when he's under $5,000, he's somebody that you have to take in consideration, especially in a game where it looks like he's going to have some nice opportunity and it's going to be a faster paced game. I do like this game quite a bit, and I wish Fox was a little bit cheaper, but you know, he is definitely in a good value play section, especially with Harrison Barnes not playing well. Then we're going to look at Brandon Clark. Now, Brandon Clark is very interesting if he starts. And if he doesn't start, then he's not somebody I'm going to play. But if he does start, he's going to be somebody I'm going to consider at power forward. His minutes are the concern here because when he doesn't start, he doesn't play more than around 20 or so minutes. But when he does start, he does get a lot. And he's played really well in these last few starts. So I hope that Memphis keeps going to him as long as Adams is out. But we'll have to wait and see. So that's kind of a wait and see approach, getting closer to Slate. Then we're going to look at Bates Diop for the Spurs. Now, I'm sorry if I messed up your name. He's played really solid and consistent lately. He's only had a couple games where he really didn't do that great. He had a 12 fantasy point game against Atlanta in 20 minutes. As long as he's the starter too, and some of those other guys that I mentioned that are questionable get ruled out, he will definitely be somebody to consider. But if he doesn't start, he's not somebody I would consider at all. But if he continues to start, then I think he's viable on the slate. And then last but not least, we're going to look at Shaden Sharp for the Trailblazers. He's been inconsistent throughout the season, but the last 4 games with guys out, he's played pretty well. I am a little concerned that with him now that Grant should be back, but I still think he's going to play some with Simmons out. And if he can continue to play the level that he's been playing, then he should have some nice upside. But do keep in mind that he is relatively scoring dependent. It is important for him to get over 10 regular points for him to really pay off here. So it's a little bit risky, but I do think he's worth taking a look at very least on this slate. So with that said, guys, again, thank you guys for liking, commenting, subscribing. It really does help the channel. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. And have a nice day, guys.